One of the greatest wars in galactic history was about to begin. Humanity had always been seen as an ordinary force among other species, overshadowed by technologically superior alien races. But this time, human commanders were not just relying on weapons. They aimed to change the course of the war through intelligence and strategy. Commander Warren knew it was time to put the plan he had been working on for so long into action. In this battle against the Sophion Empire, humans would have to go beyond standard tactics to win. Warren believed that human ingenuity could provide an advantage against technological superiority. In the meeting with his fellow commanders, determination and tension were clear on their faces. They quickly reviewed their plans, discussing every detail once more. Their enemies, however, underestimated them. Alien commanders believed that the war would be won through advanced technology alone, dismissing human intelligence as a threat. But Warren and his team were ready to prove that wars are won not only with machines, but with minds as well. In the initial moments of the battle, the warships stood poised for collision, illuminated by a flickering blue light across the vast expanse of the universe. The massive ships of the Sophion Empire advanced rapidly toward humanity's defensive lines, their powerful laser cannons locked and loaded. But this time, humanity was determined to prove that defeat was not their fate. Commander Warren focused his gaze on the enemy fleet emerging on the horizon and issued his orders to the crew. "Target acquired. Track their movements," he commanded. The crew, without a hint of panic, systematically followed Warren's instructions. Each member monitored their screens, tracking the rapidly shifting routes of the enemy ships. Though the enemy ships were colossal, dwarfing the smaller and less equipped human vessels, Warren was committed to outmaneuvering them with unexpected tactics. "Turn! Increase speed!" he shouted. Suddenly, the ship veered to the right, narrowly avoiding the incoming enemy fire. The enemy ships behind struggled to keep up with this unpredictable movement. The largest and most heavily armored of the enemy vessels, the Sophion Star, moved to the front, eager to show its dominance. Its hulking mass fired a blue beam of light directly at the human ships. Warren took a deep breath for a moment. "Go right into the heart of them," he ordered. In an instant, all the human ships, including his own, spiraled in a coordinated formation around the massive enemy vessel. As the laser cannons exchanged fire, explosions lit up the battlefield, with debris scattering into space. Although human ships lacked the thick armor of their adversaries, their creative tactics allowed them to strike at the enemy's weak points. Each ship rapidly realigned itself, searching for vulnerabilities in the enemy's defenses. "Lock on target," Warren yelled, just as a deafening explosion rocked the side of his ship. One of the enemy vessels had been destroyed by the humans' unexpected attack. The commanders of the Sophion Empire struggled to respond to humanity's inventive maneuvers. The protective fire they unleashed to defend their ships was frequently evaded by the swift-moving human vessels. The human fleet, with perfect coordination, kept their enemy distracted and constantly adjusted their strategies to outweak them. Warren was bombarded with status updates from his commanders. "We're weakening their flank. Keep pushing," he encouraged, as they maneuvered to the right, closing in on another enemy ship. When the ship fired, the enemy's AI systems faltered, unable to predict the sudden assault. The human ships, staying in constant communication, updated their strategies to counter every move of the enemy. As the Sophion commanders faced the growing chaos of the battle, their discipline began to crumble. The humans' unexpected movements were causing disarray in their ranks. Despite their advanced technology, the alien forces couldn't keep up with human ingenuity. Warren continued to set traps, forcing the enemy into positions where they would make more mistakes. By the middle of the battle, both sides had suffered heavy losses. However, humanity's ability to quickly adapt to changing circumstances was becoming more apparent. "Forward! "Now's the time," Warren commanded, as he ordered the launch of rockets from the cargo bay. The rockets streaked toward the enemy ships, creating bright explosions that illuminated the surrounding space. Commander Warren, his eyes locked on the enemy fleet, gave orders to his crew. "Activate all systems. Identify targets," he commanded. It was time to execute a clever plan. Warren studied the enemy ships, trying to predict their movements. Suddenly, an idea struck him. Deceive the enemy's radar system. "Initiate the covert maneuver," he shouted. The human ships began to move slowly at a low speed. The enemy's radar systems failed to track them. The human fleet communicated with each other as they slipped among the enemy ships, aiming to confuse them. Caught off guard by the unexpected situation, the Surfion commanders panicked, causing their ships to collide with one another. The largest ship in the Surfion Empire's fleet, the Surfion Star, continued its course, ignoring the human vessels. Warren saw an opportunity and immediately gave an order. "Attack group, position yourselves on the enemy's flank. Lock onto targets." The human ships coordinated a stealthy strategy, targeting the weak points on the enemy's underbelly. As the enemy ships moved closely together, Warren's plan unfolded. "Now!" he called out. The human ships darted into the enemy fleet at high speed, launching explosives one after the other. The enemy ships were shaken by the sudden explosions, while the humans pressed on with their courageous assault. To distract the enemy, Warren ordered some of his ships to retreat. The enemy eagerly gave chase, pursuing the retreating ships. But this was part of Warren's real plan. "Surprise attack now," he commanded. Just as the enemy ships closed in on the retreating vessels, the human ships abruptly turned and opened fire. This unexpected maneuver threw the enemy into chaos. Unable to predict the humans' creativity, the enemy commanders began to make mistakes. The human ships, constantly shifting direction, evaded the enemy's attacks. Warren observed the enemy's weak points, gradually luring them into his trap. "Break their right flank," he ordered. The enemy ships tried to counter with rapid maneuvers, but Warren's team, making split-second decisions and constantly adapting their tactics, put the enemy in a difficult position. The Surfion communication systems spiraled into disarray, while the human fleet maintained perfect coordination. As enemy casualties mounted, Warren plotted his next move. "Now, launch the rockets," he commanded. The human ships positioned themselves to confuse the enemy's radars by sending out false signals. The rockets were launched straight into the heart of the enemy fleet. The ensuing explosions left the enemy fleet in ruins. As the Surfion commanders lost control of the situation, their panic deepened. Unable to outmatch human ingenuity, the enemy was forced to retreat. Warren, having fully taken control of the battlefield, shouted, "Victory will be ours." When the war ended, the galaxy was forced to acknowledge the power of human genius. Humans had won the war not just through physical strength, but through their tactical intelligence. By the time the Surfion Empire realized that human ingenuity was stronger than technology, it was too late. Warren sat thoughtfully in the command center after the victory. What they had achieved was a step that would shift the balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity would now be respected as a formidable force in galactic society. Other species had come to understand just how dangerous human intelligence could be. This war had been a triumph of mind over machines. The people of the galaxy would not forget this war, where human brilliance emerged victorious. This new era, where humans would be recognized as the galaxy's strategic leaders, was only the beginning. No species would ever underestimate humanity again. I hope you had a good time. If you liked my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye. See you in the next story.